Got a few more pictures maybe rolling there. But the last one was Claire with my daughter as a group. I'll let you guys finish the slideshow before we get started. How does that sound? We're just so proud of our slideshow, we wanted to show it to you again. So we'll figure out how to stop that epic slideshow. Yeah, we had a ton of fun. We spent many, many hours awake. Maybe some hours we wish we were sleeping. We were still awake in our tents trying to find that comfortable, warm spot out in Creston. And we're so thankful to those of you families and parents that let your son and daughters and siblings come out with us to Creston to camp, and then all around this county serving anyone from the Tuscaloosa Police Department, firehouses, and homes that just needed some help and needed some work around their house, and even just a couple notes were given to some families in need, and just people, elderly couples in SLO at the Manson Marsh, and spent some time with them, just encouraging them. And a couple of our students walked in, and I asked him, how did it go? And he's like, well, we walked in the door, and the guy met me and said, do you know how to play hangman? And I said, yeah. He's like, all right, then have a seat. And that's what they did for an hour. They played hangman, And so you'll get to hear a lot more about what your students experienced, but I just kind of wanted to introduce myself. I'm Brandon Hall. I'm the student ministries pastor here, and man, we have an awesome team, awesome staff, volunteer that really made this week just a week that your kids will never forget. And I just wanted to start off tonight by giving you guys a little bit of a picture of kind of the theme that we were talking about throughout our week as students were coming and going. This word contentment is a word that I've been wrestling with for a while, and some of our staff were talking about it before this week, and we kind of met Monday night and talked about just this sentence that Paul, a missionary and church planner, gave to one of his disciples, a guy that he was training to be a pastor and plant a church. And he said, here's the deal. Godliness with contentment equals great gain. And so we kind of thought about that, meditated on that all week, and we passed out these 3x5 cards, and I'm a simple guy, and so I had to boil that down and help us understand those big words of godliness and contentment. And what are we doing out here? We're serving, but man, we're going to be rough and intense. We left warm showers, comfy beds, all of our toys and things that we've put on wish lists and Christmas lists and birthday lists for years. We left all that to come out here and sleep on the ground and chop down weeds and do random stuff we don't even know what we're doing, but Sarah's going to tell us every morning what we're doing, And so how do we have contentment this week, and how do we have contentment in our life, and where does godliness play in? And so we grabbed these 3x5 cards and wrote on them, I'm content with, and then a line. And so we put those cards under your chairs for you guys just to kind of take part in what your students did, if you want, just to write on there, I'm content with, and then a line. And we just gave the students, and we're going to give you guys an opportunity for you just to reflect kind of on when you walked in here, what was that one thing maybe you were thinking about? Man, if I had this, I think I'd find joy. I think I'd find satisfaction. And even driving back from Creston, the thoughts came back of, man, I want this, or I'd be really happy if this was how my life looked. And so we just put that before them and said, here's the deal. We all have that one thing that we're striving for. We all have that one thing that we think once we obtain it, then our life will be at peace. And that's what contentment is. It's that inner peace that no matter what's going on around us, we're okay because we have this contentment. And godliness, really, that big word that's heavy and weighted, we kind of boil it down to being devoted to God. And so we kind of boil down the message as you guys are thinking about maybe that one thing you're wanting to have peace in your life. If you want to write down on your card, just I'm content with, you write that down on the front, whatever it is. And we talked about the problem kind of starts when we look at something, we start thinking about it, and then in our hearts we start taking inventory of maybe our bank or our resources, money to buy that thing. And then things is often what we put our contentment in, is having things. And so I talked about the interesting thing is with the word contentment, that inner peace and godliness, really true contentment is having godliness in our hearts, not wealth in our hands, and our eyes are fixed on eternity, not on the here and now. And so as we were working in the here and now, we were thinking about eternity. We were thinking about the lives that we're impacting for the purpose that they would see God's love. Not that they would see our hard work and the muscles on our guys and just the loving care and muscles on our ladies. Sometimes the girls were showing up the guys out there. But we had fun with that. You know, one of the guys couldn't start the leaf blower, and one of the girls comes over and is like, this on button right here? Yeah, you got to flip that on button, and then the leaf blower works. And the guy's sitting over there nursing his wounded heart, you know. But the fact that we're called first and foremost to be devoted to God with our hearts and to have godliness in our hearts, not wealth in our hands. And our eyes are supposed to be focused on eternity, not the here and now. And so we kind of had them flip over the card, which is what I'm going to have you guys do real quick, and write the same thing, I'm content with, and the dash. And then think about, man, what is that thing that God's maybe asking you to let go of and say, okay, I'm content with being devoted to Christ, to look like Christ, and to have godliness in my heart, not wealth in my hands, and to have my focus be on eternity, not the here and now. So with that, I'm going to invite Pope to come on up. Andrew Pope is our guy who's led us in worship and kind of created just music for us, but man, he's a guy who loves putting on his boots. As we started 8:05 thinking about it, he came to me and he's like, Brandon, so do you have some boots? And I'm like, honestly, I love trucks. I love working hard. I love riding horses and stuff, but I don't have boots. Like, I wear Vans, and I just wear rainbow sandals. That's all I got. I grew up here, and he's like, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed in you. And he's a guy who was wearing boots. I think he even slept a couple nights in his boots. And I think he might be working in his boots right now because he's not here. So I think we'll just roll, and maybe we'll get him back. We got a couple of students, so I think I'll bring up Austin Payne. He's our junior high pastor, and he's going to be kind of leading the share time with the students. They're going to be sharing kind of what they experienced on the trip.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint, but I will not sing for you, nor will I play guitar, because you will all leave very quickly. Just like Brandon said, we had a great week and just had a ton of fun hanging out with students, being out in Creston, where it was freezing cold. A couple nights, I had my sweatpants, my beanie, my sweatshirt, and was still pretty cold. So I hope your students survived, and they will never be more thankful for the home they have than after this week. It was awesome, and just like Brandon was saying, this time right here, we want to just invite some students. If we talked to the first group of students led by Wyatt, if you guys want to just head on up, and we're just going to share about work projects and the experiences they had this week.
Sing there.
So, my man, Wyatt, starting with you.
Okay, thanks, Austin. Like Austin said, my name is Wyatt Hosh. I'm a 7th grader, and I just really felt that God put on my heart this week to learn how to be selfless. And so I just want to tell you kind of how that happened. The first day that we went to the service project was Monday, and we went to Echo, which is right across the street. And we were doing some painting, some pulling weeds, yard work, stuff like that. So it was great, but when we were doing the tour, they gave us a tour before to see Echo, and they showed us this board, and it showed all the different people that they have sheltered, that have gotten, that have since gotten jobs and been able to move out and provide for themselves and if they had families. And there was so many different things on that board that they did for them, because it showed them giving them money for gas so they can drive to go to different job interviews, and they can wash their clothes for them, give them shelter, food, and there was so many different things that they did for them out of selflessness. And so I was really just thinking about that, and how much, by being selfless, how much we can do for others. And because we can do that for others, then they can serve other people that need it more. And so being selfless is something that I think all people need to have, because being selfless, it makes other people's lives easier and can give hope to those who don't have it. And so this week I just really learned how being selfless with the jobs, being trying to go last and not first, and how it really helps other people. And that's what we're here to do as Christians. So yeah, that's what I learned.
Hi, I'm Claire Corbin. I'm a junior, and I was on Team 4 this year. So something that we did on yesterday, was we went to the Atascadero Lake Park, and we painted these fences that were behind the pavilion. And when we got there, we were like, okay, no big deal. Like, this is no work at all. We can get this done in like 2-hour tops, and we can be done. And like, we were just so ready to kind of just dive in and just get it done with. And the job ended up taking us all day long, pretty much, of our whole time, which is like not 2 hours. And so while we were sitting there working, my mindset for every project that we did was, okay, so we got to do this, this, and this, and we have to have these conversations, and then we'll be successful servers, and we'll be great. And like, that's what I needed to do. I needed to work hard, I needed to have good conversations, and then I'm done for the day. And that was my mindset for every day. And then Wednesday, when we were working on those fences, I was just getting so tired being fake and just being like, okay, so where is my opportunity to have this great conversation, you know? And I was like, you know what, like, this is dumb. I don't want to be like great. Like, I just want to have fun, you know, like, that's why I'm here. And so once I finally let that go and was just like, I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to be crazy. I'm just going to be myself. Like, I don't want to be uptight, and I don't want to just look at this as like something I have to do, but I want to do it. And so once like I let go of that, like, I need to do this, this, and this, and I kind of just went with the flow and was like, whatever, like, we ended up having these conversations that were great, and they happened just because we were having fun, and we got to know each other at such a personal level. And the project that was supposed to only take a few hours took all day, and that was just so cool to see how like the time went by so fast, and like it didn't seem like we were there all day, and we worked hard, and we got to know each other. And I believe that was like the time our team finally connected and finally realized, like, you know, we're not just a team, but we're like brothers and sisters in Christ, and we worked really hard together. And so God kind of just taught me, like, life is not a to-do list, and we can't just sit up there and be like, okay, you're a Christian, you got to go do this, this, and this, and you need to do it. And if you don't do that, you're not a good enough Christian. He kind of just showed me, like, let go, let me be in control, let me tell you what to do, and just go with the flow. And I'm going to show you amazing joy and amazing, like, things through that. And God kind of just took what I wanted, and he made it into something, he took control of it, and he made it into something beautiful. So yeah, that's what I learned.
I'm Logan Simpson, and I was on Team 5. And today we went to these people's house, and we, like, they had this huge land that was like full of weeds, and we, like, when we finished weed whacking it, and we took out all the leaves in the the garden, and when we were finished, they came out, and they were, like, so thankful, and they even sang us a song, goodbye song. Yeah, it was a pretty good song, actually. She was pretty good at singing, and she, like, they sang us it, and they were, like, so thankful that we did that, because they were, like, they said that it would take them long, like, what we could do in, like, a couple hours would take them, like, days to do, which, like, I thought that was pretty cool, that we could, like, go there and help them, because, like, to see what they, like, were all thankful for and stuff, that was, like, I think that just, like, reached out to me to see how thankful they were. And yeah, that's it.
Hi, I'm Tyler Cronkite, and I'm on Team 4. It's pretty cool. And today we stayed at Granite Ridge, and I was working on pipes. It was okay. But God really showed me that I can find joy in friends through just working in our community, and it was really cool to hear that and know that, and yeah, that's about it.
Hi, I'm Madison Abels, and I was on the lovely Team 1. And this week, God just showed me that I really need to have my focus eternally, and just truly know that this is not my home. And with my focus on eternity, it was easier to love on others and easier to do these work projects because I know that if God came back, I could say I tried and I did it. Even if I get rejected trying to talk to someone, I know that I did all that I could to share the gospel with them. I think, especially me, I get comfortable knowing that God hasn't come back in the last 2,000 years, and so he's probably not going to come back today, but I don't know that, and he could, and I would hate to know that I missed an opportunity because I was comfortable in my home and I was comfortable with my friends instead of going out and serving my community or talking to someone else and having meaningful conversations, because if God came back, I'd want to know that I tried everything I could to make sure that they heard the gospel.
Alrighty, thank you guys. Alrighty, Andrew Pope is in the house. We are now going to just sing a couple of songs. If you guys just want to go ahead and stand up to your feet, we're going to spend some time in worship. Hey, thank you, Pope. One of my favorite parts about this Project 805 experience was that not only did your students work incredibly hard, and not only did we accomplish a ton, but I think relationships were built this week. And as we met with students earlier a couple hours ago, Brandon was standing up here and he asked the question, how many of you became friends with someone or talked to someone this week that you didn't even know before this week? And like the entire room's hands, including mine, went up, because this is one of those experiences where it just facilitates conversation, and you're put on a team with a bunch of people that you don't necessarily have the best relationships with. So we didn't we intentionally put them on a team with like not their best friends, so that they aren't just with those people all week. But you mingle and you mix, and from 7th grade all the way up to seniors, you saw these groups just work hard together, and there's something about working hard together that just facilitates those relationships and those conversations. And we just really challenged them to, hey, this week, reach out to somebody that you don't know. Reach out to somebody that you're not necessarily super good friends with. And it was really, really cool to see them respond to that. And not only with each other, but also with this community. I just want to share with you guys a text message I received earlier this week. And it was from a woman named Eddie. And we were able to go out. It was one of those like last-minute back burner projects, and because of the rain, we shuffled some things around and ended up working out at this lady's house. And she lived out in the trailer park over by Home Depot. And she just texted me, and she texted me this. She said, Austin, my daughters and I wanted to thank you guys and Jason and your wonderful team for all you did for us today. You guys worked super hard for us. You all gave us more than we could imagine. It gave us a clean yard with a shed where we can put everything that has been sitting in the boxes in our house for so long. And my kids have not stopped jumping on the trampoline since you guys left. And they were actually able to set up the trampoline that was in a box in their house for forever. She said, and the closet shelves that you guys built, oh my goodness, it's like out of a magazine. Super functional and sturdy. My daughter Sarah loved it. You guys seriously rock, all caps. You reflect Jesus' hands and feet very clearly, and that's priceless. Please thank everyone on our behalf, the Grace Girls. And it was just so cool for me to see that, and I was talking to Jason afterwards, and with just tears in Sarah's eyes and in Eddie's eyes, they just thanked the team. And it was just, that's just one example of what our teams were able to do, and to go out and not only accomplish these projects of pulling weeds and painting things, but really being Jesus' hands and feet to this community and really impacting this community. It was so rad to see, and so cool to see not only the work that was done, but the relationships were built. So I just want to invite the second group of students up, and they're just going to talk a little more about the impact of Project 805. Starting with Josh.
Thank you, Austin. That's Austin Payne, if you guys don't know. Terrible spikeball player. Loses every time. So, just once. That's all it takes, though. So this week was super amazing. God opened my eyes to many things, and it was outstanding. And like Austin said, one of the best things for me was the whole aspect of relationships and getting to meet new people that go to my school who I've never met in my entire life before. And so being able to meet these new people and see that God is thriving in each and every single one of them was just amazing to me. And it was also just able to connect with new people was super awesome for me. And one of the funnest things we did during the project was we went to the lake park, and our team was, we had to move all these wood chips that were piled probably about this high, and it was super just daunting. No one wanted to do it, and it was super hard, and it was already raining, so the chips were like twice as heavy as they should be. So no one really wanted to do it, and it was really tough. And we decided to make a game out of it, and me, Rich, Jacob, and Cameron all made a relay out of it. So we just shoveled all these chips into a bucket, run back and forth, dumped the chips, and it was kind of a whole fight to see who can run the fastest, do it the fastest. And in that process, we became great friends, and it was super fun. And also, we broke a bucket, so if you guys don't need a bucket, totally sorry, there's a giant hole in the bottom. But besides that, just making new relationships, super amazing, super awesome. It was just an outstanding experience. And each and every single one of your kids is thriving with the Lord right now, and they're super camp high right now. And I really hope that they continue to take that to your guys' homes and continue to serve when they need to see a need and fill it. And yeah, each and every single one of them was just thriving, and it was super amazing to see that and get to know each and every single one of you guys as kids. So thank you again.
Hi, my name's Mariah. I'm from Team 8. And on Wednesday, we went to the fire station and we did a bunch of yard work. And by doing this yard work and serving for God, it just made the firemen so joyful, and they were just so kind to us. And I love seeing that, because not only by doing this work and service, we were bringing joy to God, but we were also spreading joy throughout the community. And they were just so nice, and I love seeing that.
Hi, my name's Joelle. I'm from Team 4. Love you too. At the beginning of this week, I didn't know most of the people on my team, so I was kind of like nervous because I didn't know how this week would go. I didn't know like if I would like them, or if they would like me, or if they were nice. But as the week went on, I got to know a lot of them really well, and there are a lot of really awesome people, and I'm just super happy that I got to get to know them this week.
Hi, my name's Jessa. I'm from Team 5. Before this, I had no idea who anybody on my team was, and I just had such good relationships with this. Like, for example, I had no idea who my really good friend Evelyn was. No idea. Like, I said hi to her once or twice, and now we're like holding hands, skimming to the bathroom together. We just, Team 5, we just connected so much just as a group. Like, we're not really, I don't really call it a group, like, we're more like a family. And when we went to Eddie's house, like Austin was saying, it's just like how much we connected, and we were all working together. And when I would look up, I'm like, oh, this is so hard, when are we done? I'm like checking the time like 20 times. I just look up and see their faces, they're smiling, and we're all like making jokes, and it would just make it go by so faster, and just so much more fast. Sorry for my grammar. It would just make it go by so much more fast, just seeing them all. Well, you get the point. It would just seeing them.
I don't know how to follow that. I'm Jaren. I am from Team 7. This was just an amazing experience, just bonding with a bunch of great people. I saw some familiar faces, some not so familiar. It was just great, and I had some great leaders, Pope being one of them. It was just really great, because everything we did, we made a game out of it. We had fun. We had to clean trash at the Atascadero High School, the stadium. We had to clean all the trash out of there. And Pope said, whoever can find the most change gets the whole pot of the change. We found $1.73, something like that. But it was great. It was fun. But just making friends and building relationships, it was just such an awesome experience, and something, Brandon was saying with contentment was, I'm always back there in that tech booth, and I'm always like, I always want the latest stuff, the latest technology. Oh, I want these new lights, these cool things, and it's just like, man, I don't really need all that. I don't need the newest iPhone. I don't need the $10,000 Apple Watch. I don't need it. It's pointless, and that hit home for me a lot, because I'm always grabbing for the latest thing, and that was something I realized this week, and just making friends and building relationships and having fun with just a bunch of awesome people, and creating some really hilarious inside jokes. It was just great, and it is one of the greatest experiences on a missions trip I've ever had. This is my second time going, and it is by far one of the best relationships and one of the best mission trips I've ever been on. And it is a pleasure to work with the people I've worked with, and to be able to be behind the scenes, and to see these people grow, and to see these people really work hard, not for them, not for the people they were working for, but to work for God. And that was just so amazing to see them grow in their faith, and to grow in their relationship with other people, in their relationship with God. And it was just an amazing week, and we all had a blast.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Something you guys didn't know as parents coming tonight, but we actually are having a best dressed competition, and we actually already chose a winner, and his name is Joe Allen. So Joe Allen, as best dressed, can you come accept your award, please?
I guess I got the award because he thought he had warrants. So why am I here? First of all you parents, you got to look at your kids and just think these are some wonderful kids. I've never been around such a bunch of hardworking young people. You give us all promise that, our nation will survive. Because in my business, as you well know, we don't always see the best things in life. But man, I tell you, for the 2 days these kids took over our police department, and respectfully so. I mean, we still were able to do our business. But they really did an awesome job. One thing I saw that was probably one of the most interesting things as it went through, and again, I didn't know you guys mixed up your teams like that. I thought these kids knew each other from, all along, was the fellowship. I mean, these kids all got along. They all worked hand in hand. It was awesome. I'd go into the dispatch center, and one of the projects that the kids did was they'd go into our jail, our former jail. It's now closed, but it was an ugly, awful pink. You kids that painted it, you remember. It was really awful, and it's always been awful. And I've been in this department 19 years, so I know what awful is. And there's been some awful people in that jail, but we did clean it before they painted it. But it was really neat going into dispatch and seeing where all the light, where all the cameras were. We're looking at these minions. They're working. They're standing over one another. They're hanging off of this and that. And, one's painting here and the other one's getting their forearm painted by accident, I'm sure. So even though they were having fun, they got a whole bunch of work done, and we'd have to pay thousands of dollars to get the job done that they did. We truly appreciate that. They cleaned the police department. They cleaned outside. They cleaned inside. They cleaned some of the police cars, some of our CSI truck. They did so much work for us that we really, truly appreciate it. We certainly would love to have them come back. Another thing I got to experience that I thought was awesome, and I know you don't want to stand up and be recognized, but the leadership that this church has is amazing. It's absolutely amazing at all levels, and I know that. My daughter is one of your leaders, and I'm not bragging on her, well, I am. But I mean, Sarah reached out to me months and months and months ago, and I know Sarah, she grew up with my older daughter, and she says, hey, can you put these kids to work? So I had to scratch my head and start thinking about things they could do, and we said, well, paint the jail, that'll be awesome. So we went out and got some supplies, and they did a really good job. If anybody wants to see what it looks like, just go ahead and get booked. I'm just kidding. We really don't use our jail anymore, but we use it for storage. But it was really God really reflected upon our community by having all these kids out in the community and doing such a wonderful job. And thank you very much, and hopefully look forward to seeing you guys out there again next year. We'll have to find some more projects.
Cool. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. I actually dropped that team off in the shuttle, and I don't think I've ever been more nervous driving somewhere. I was using both blinkers, and Brandon was sitting next to me. I'm like, are you sure I can turn left here, man? There's a bunch of cops behind me. It was pretty nervous. But we have a video that we want to show you guys, just kind of a recap of the week, so go ahead and check this video out.
I'm a sophomore, and I'm really thankful for Project 805 because it really opened my eyes to see how much service our community needs. I noticed that every little help counts, and I just really met a lot of really cool people on this trip, and I think that you should too because you really bond with your church.
Hi, my name is Josh Olson. My first impression for 805 was it's going to be pretty hard, but once I got here, it was actually kind of awesome to realize that you're just not doing this to only help your community, but to serve God in the way that He's wanting you to serve Him.
me, but all the other communities. And I hope that when they see us working, that they don't see us working, that they see God working through us to them. And if you're even just thinking about going to Project 85, you totally should, because it's like the best experience in the world. And it's just awesome. It's so smart.
Jacob Wedge. I'm 8th grade, and this week at 805, I learned a lot. Like praying just for the little things, God answers all your prayers. Because on Monday, Addison couldn't get her weed whacker to start, and we tried everything. So Addison just said, let's just pray over this weed whacker, and then that's like it started working for the rest of the day. And it was really cool.
I'm Zach. I'm a teacher at the junior high school. It's my privilege to be out here this week with these kids. And James, it says, consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of no kind, because that testing develops perseverance. And I've seen that through these kids this week. And these aren't even just real-world trials that they face when they get home, but it's trials that are just work-related, and they're just doing an awesome job. As kids clean windows for 2 hours while just cranking some worship music and singing along and worshiping God. And there's nothing better than that. It's like a small picture of heaven.
Yeah, as you guys saw on the video and heard from so many of the students, man, this past week was awesome. And as we look back on it, and as we might sound a little tired, it's because we are. Let's just be honest. That's been a common theme today, just thinking and dreaming about our beds. But man, as we look back and see all the work and the amount of hours and the amount of people that we threw at projects all over the county, we have to give credit where credit is due. And we could not have even attempted, Austin and I, to look at a project like this, Project 805, from Santa Maria all the way up to Paso, and the amount of just connections and just lives that were changed over the past couple of days that this room represents. And so we want to just give a huge thank you to man, all the leaders, but specifically some very special ones that kept us fed.
Yeah, definitely. Just want to start out, especially students, you guys should be screaming for this one, with Reggie and Shannon Berard. And if you know Reggie, he'll be like, oh no, I didn't do anything, it was all Shannon. So specifically Shannon Berard, thank you so much. Reg was barbecuing and working hard, but Shannon was just in the kitchen all week and just cooking for us and keeping us well fed. The food was amazing, and Shannon's mom as well. So just thank you guys so much for keeping us well fed, and food was great. So one more time for Reggie and Shannon.
Put your hands together. Give it up for them. They definitely worked hard, and our meals were warm and they were always delicious. They had a couple of helpers come out throughout the week, the community groups. We want to thank you if you're here. If you are a part of a community group that came out and helped, man, it was a huge help and blessing to them. Some project leaders we want to make sure we recognize and say a huge thank you. You were here early in the morning till late in the afternoon making sure these guys were on task. I know some of them towards the end of the week needed a little bit more help than at the beginning. Kind of turned into walking zombies. Jim Wells, Joe Allen, Tom Jameson, and Michael Gonzalez. And we just thank you guys so much for putting our students to work and casting vision and even just sitting down and explaining some of the things of some of the reasons why this needs to happen. Man, it was awesome just rolling in and like Austin said, dropping students off and then picking them up and hearing the stories and seeing the smiles and just the work that was done. It was awesome.
I have a couple of our 805 Spotlight team leaders I just want to thank. Nathan Hosh, Jacqueline Jangard, Natasha Koenig, Andrew Pope, Samantha Mason, Jamie Ogden, Tracy Keefe, Jessica Chavez, Jason Paler, and yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I got some more. Alex Hamilton, Oriana Stevens, Jessica Ballard, Peter Morales, Vanessa Green, Austin Abels, Natalie Null, and Jana Abels. Yeah, put your hands together. Was there another?
I think that's one more. No, maybe Corinne Paler.
Put your hands together for Corinne Paler. Our very own. She worked so hard.
Selfishly, I want to thank Corinne specifically and everybody who worked in Boardwalk. As the junior high pastor here, that is my room and where we do all of our nights. So just specifically thanks to the team of students, leaders, anybody who were in there painting. You guys worked super hard, and I'm stoked that room got painted and it looks so awesome in there. So just thank you guys again.
Yeah, specifically like Austin said, painting's one of those, some of our leaders came to me and were like, how much do I have to pay you not to paint? And I was like, well, you kind of signed up for this to do service projects, and Corinne was one that was in and day out with different teams making sure it looks good, so we specifically appreciate you. Man, Jim Siegfried for driving every year. He's been one of our drivers, and it was kind of one of those sad years for him because we lost our bus, but he was still there faithfully driving whatever vehicle we threw at him, and he was flexible and loved it. The video you saw wasn't just edited by us on our iPhones. It was actually a lot of work running around from project to project, making sure he got the right shots throughout our days. Alan in the back of the tech booth. Put your hands together for Alan. And also, you guys, each and every one of you, I saw some of you grab your tools already, but all of you that loaned us tools, hopefully you get them back better than you gave them to us. If they broke, we should have fixed them or we'll replace them. So we want to give you guys a huge round of applause and thanking you for equipping us to get the work done.
And then lastly, of course, this project could not happen without these two people. Sarah Murphy, thank you very much.
Stand up, put your hands together, stand up for Sarah. She was, come on, students, you guys know how hard she worked. Woo! So, to give you guys a little context, 8 teams, at least 2 to 3 troop leaders, that's 8 plus vehicles or more, and half days we're shuffling teams around. Rain came Tuesday, messed the schedule up a little bit, so we learned how to be flexible, and Sarah's the brains behind all this, making sure Austin and I know where to go, when to go, and make sure we don't leave anybody at the stop. And so
definitely could not have happened without Sarah. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I called her and was like, Sarah, I don't know what to do, help me. And she helped a ton and organized the whole thing, and was just definitely could not have happened without you. So
yeah, for sure. And last but definitely not least, Nicole, now Erbstoser. She years ago kind of dreamed this up, and man, it's crazy because she was really helping us a lot. We'd go to her with questions. Hey, this is our first year. What did this look like? What could it look like? How should we do this? And she was there, even though she's newly pregnant, and just overcoming some of that. Yeah, that stuff, so we could celebrate that as well. But Ryan graciously let her come out with us and make sure the trip was a success, and it was great having her and great seeing Ryan out there when he could. And so we want to thank both of you guys so very much. Put your hands together for Nicole and Ryan. So, one last thing, Nicole loves youth ministry, she loves trips, and she also has this other side where she loves being the center of attention, which kind of goes hand in hand with youth ministry. But we were at the firehouse for a good portion of the morning, and I went to check on some other teams, and I get back, and one of the team leaders says, hey, you'll never guess where Nicole is. And I'm like, shoot, you're right, I won't, it's Nicole, And they're like, well, a call came, and Nicole jumped on the fire truck, and the firefighters were like, come along. And so Nicole took a call, and so this is her last 8:05, and she went out on a fire truck, literally on a call, and got to experience a ride along with the fire department, and so she loved it and couldn't stop talking about it. But hopefully, Nicole, this was a great last 8:05, last youth trip, and thanks for so many years of serving and leading ABC High Life and Junior High Life. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Thanks again, each and every one of you, for making this possible, letting your students come, supporting them, and thank you guys as parents for doing such a great job leading it and really raising such great kids. I'm going to close our time with a word of prayer, and then be sure to grab your sleeping bag, pads, tents, chairs, and tools right out here as you guys head on out. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday if you're in Junior High Life, Wednesday High Life, and Sunday, this Sunday or any other Sunday after that for good relationships and just good memory making. So let's pray. God, we just thank you so much for these past couple days, Lord, where it seems like such a long week when we leave the comforts and really the routine that we find ourselves just sliding into day in and day out, and the distractions that come, and so many good things we have at our fingertips, but how easily they distract from the best thing. And that's a relationship with you. God, and as many of these students found out that it's really about a relationship with you and being content with that, and seeing the contentment that relationships with others bring, especially those new relationships that are formed through serving. God, you set the example, you set the bar, leaving heaven to come and serve us, Lord, as we learn more about what that looks like to serve others when it's uncomfortable and cold and we're wet and we're not comfortable. God, we pray that we would maintain our focus on you so that we could go and serve others and be content knowing that you loved us first and you sent us to go and love the world and for your name and for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.